that's all it's gonna take. Okay, there we are. Go live.
So we're good. It's popping.
We're live. We're live. We got different bump music. We got our little lo-fi background. Welcome back to the studio, folks. I think we just cut like 10 minutes, and then my laptop did blue screen of death. So we just took that shitty take one.
It was practice.
Made it private. It was like BP. It was like BP before the game. Just get some reps in, and now we're live again.
There we go.
All right. So yeah. Anthony Turnstile here with my ace, Dutch Chattahoochee. It's been a while, buddy. It's been a month. It's been more than a month. We did a test, but we moved locations. We're trying to get this new place built out.
Well, we were busy, like, putting everything in here, setting everything up. And we weren't just, like, fucking around. Like, we were editing the video and shooting the video, obviously.
Yep.
And editing a video takes time.
Way longer than you think.
Especially when you have a lot of footage and you have to cycle through it and you have to make a story.
Yeah.
We had an outline and we knew like what the story was going to be. It was just difficult piecing it together because there was, in our opinion, so many good takes that we had to leave out.
Yeah, we probably were only up there for like
2 hours,
3 hours,
yeah.
Like just shooting. But then you get 3 hours of footage. You kind of have to rewatch 3 hours and then chop it up, and that becomes onerous.
But it was fun. It was cool because there's those painters. They were there. They were like walking through while you were doing it.
Yeah, we got John M's original art. M's.
They did walk by and laugh. So I mean, if random people we just met.
I think he liked one of the bits we put up on Instagram or something like that. So
yeah, I had to get on my computer to do it because I can't post a video from my phone.
But yep, here we are back at it. We got a great show today. Please call into the baseball hotline. At this point, I'm bribing people. I'm promising gifts.
To quote a show that I used to watch on ESPN, it's no longer on the air. It's called Mike and Mike.
Yeah.
And they were like, "We're back and better than ever."
Back and better than ever.
Well, that was their intro to every show.
Well, if you want to be the first caller, we believe the Magic Jack actually works. I'll send gifts. I don't know what they'll be. You got a dial tone over there?
Yes, sir. There's a dial tone.
And we'll have our first caller on the show. Talk about anything. I know Luke Malone has got an awesome podcast. I'd rather promote others rather than myself. That's going to be sick.
Does he have, baseball?
He's probably just talking awesome baseball.
What is his channel, you know?
I think he said it was like LM34, which is his number as a pitcher. I was because we got a golf. We did the UTSA golf thing, and I was sitting with Flores, and I was kind of looking back at the stats from last year for UTSA. Luke Malone was insane. But so roadmap for today. What do you got, buddy? I know you got the hot topic with the meat.
Yeah, I just want to talk
about. On you.
I just want to talk about. Okay,
are you 2 or 3? You're 3.
I'm 2.
You're 2. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 2. I just want to talk about Trevor Bauer, man. Not the court case and none of the other stuff. I'm just here to simply talk about his possible return to baseball, and he is allowed to play again if a team chooses to sign him, right? For the league minimum of $720,000, which
that's the league minimum. That's so crazy.
That's according to this to the search. Was it Bing?
Yeah.
According to that, but that's still a lot of money. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to sign him.
I don't think they are. No, you're 3, dude. I'm 2.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're 3, man. We missed all that awesome talking from you.
Well, you heard it.
All right, they heard it. It's all good. It's unprofessional. We're figuring out our stuff. Yeah, the Trevor Bauer is a touchy subject. I don't think it's clickbait. I think at the end of our little segment on it, we don't have any answers. You know, I don't think there's any answers for it. I got some opinions on what's going to shake out, and nobody's probably going to touch him because it's not worth the drama.
I mean, he hasn't played in 2 years?
Hasn't played in 2 years.
Since 2021 season.
But I do take exception with some of the super strong opinions that I see on social media that people acting like they know exactly what the answer is, and I'm like, I don't know if stuff like this, he said, she said stuff is as clear as it should be for you to have that opinion. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm not saying, she's a victim, but I am going to say probably nobody knows except for those two. So, I mean, there is an alternate, or maybe there's a reality where, like, the dude was like, I don't even know. I hooked up with this chick. She liked to rough, and now, look, my career's over. Like, I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's true. I haven't seen the evidence, but as like people acting like they know, and I was like, bro, I don't think you know. But anyway, that'll be a good one. We'll bump music into that. Then we got UTSA a little bit, little UTSA review because we got to support those guys. Andy Brown art. The greatness of Andy Brown art. Here's a little Menko piece. I did my little unboxing. This guy's a phenomenal artist, but he's also, in my opinion, one of the greatest artists because he's a baseball artist. He paints pretty fast. He uses great colors and great technique.
We might be getting a phone call.
Really?
Yeah.
The wife's calling it?
No, my aunt might call in.
Oh, nice. I want to talk to the aunt.
So. And I was like, I said, talk about talk about whatever.
She can talk about whatever she wants to on this show.
Talk about how the Cowboys lost and it was great.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's heartbreaking for me, but like at this point in the Cowboys' victory, like I can't even remember the triplets year with Aikman. You know, it's like it's so far.
95 or 96?
It's so far. I was like, it's whatever.
I was 10 years old.
The expectations for the Cowboys are in the basement forever now. So like, but yeah, I've got Andy Brown art, Kaoru Betto, and the Big Lebowski, and the thread of Buddhist philosophy that runs through that, and the random places that Kaoru Betto shirts shows up in Jeff Bridges' films. Our comedy sketch, the notorious Dutch Chattahoochee was interviewed on Confabulation with Turnstile, and it went nowhere.
I was in a bad mood that day.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one for me, bud. But it made some fun making comedy or attempts at comedy. Whatever your opinion is, if we make one person smile, it's worth it.
You flipped your lid that day, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, if you get a laugh out of it. Surviving the holidays. My skating career as a 47-year-old man. Injuries we expect, and then maybe sending our magazine really is kind of like the last piece segment, and the idea that we might send my nanny to Puerto Rico because she speaks Spanish with a local guide, of course, to report on some Puerto Rican baseball fields that I think are particularly beautiful near the beach. But that's the show for today. A lot of controversy. We could talk winter baseball off season. I mean, spring training is coming up in Feb. College baseball is just like a thoroughbred in the gate at the Kentucky Derby just waiting to bust out. College baseball is about to blow out, and it's going to be so much fun, and really that's where my attention's going to go. MLB still forever. Universal DH. I can't stand it.
I'm still riding with MLB. So
I realized last year I could get the LMB Mexican League package on my Spectrum dish. And so I'm just going to do that this year and do college baseball, Mexican League. Because I could do like Taiwan or Japan. The problem is those games are like crazy, like early in the morning or middle, like the hours are wrong. But LMB games, it's like Central Time Zone. Yeah. So I'm getting down with Mexican League. But that's the show, man. Let's get the camera on you and bump into it with some Gator. This is I'm going to bump into it with a Gator because we skipped that last time. This is hard hitting underground journalism that we're known for. Camera on Dutch Chattahoochee. Oh my gosh, we got a caller. Let's bring that back down. This is awesome.
Hello?
Wait a second. I got to get that turned off, and I got to go right here. Oh, we got
What's
it.
Up?
Oh, yes.
What y'all doing?
We're just sitting here.
You're our first guest.
Can you hear that?
Just barely.
Oh, you have to talk into the mic and the phone. You got to like lean like that, Earl,
Like that?
and then introduce the caller.
Can you hear this now?
Yeah.
I can hear you. I can barely hear him.
No, that's because I'm not on the phone. She can only hear the phone receiver. But if we're gonna have the conversation in the soundboard, and as long as you're talking on the mic, we're also gonna get your end of it for the podcast.
So like this right here.
Yeah, that's the perfect setup
All
for
right.
taking calls.
So what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Anything. Talk. Okay, how do you feel about the Cowboys losing?
Well, let's do intros.
Oh, it was great.
The 10,000 watchers don't know who's on the phone.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My name is Cheryl Farrell. I guess I'm. Should I call you Dutch or Earl Ray?
You can call it whatever you want.
I'm Earl Ray's aunt.
Aunt Cheryl, thank you for coming on the show. We were going to get down into a big controversial topic, but if you could tell us your favorite hobby, we'll just go with that. And you have won the door prize, whatever we dig up in the office.
Free prize.
A free prize for what? I could barely hear you.
Oh, a free prize just for calling in.
Oh, cool.
Whatever.
You got my address, right?
I have your address. Or we'll get your address. So Ernie was wondering what's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby? Oh, Lord, I don't know.
Do you like to wrestle pigs? Like ride horses?
Knitting,
No.
walking, bird watching.
I can't do anything right now.
You can bird watch. We'll say that. We'll say your hobby's bird watching.
Okay, I love the birds, yeah.
Okay, bird watching. There we go.
Okay, all right.
Well, I think we can work with that.
We can work with bird watches. Since you love birds so much, what's your favorite bird?
Oh, the cardinal.
Cardinal. There we go.
Perfect. It's a perfect segue to St. Louis Cardinals baseball, frankly.
But all right. So you won a prize. You shall be receiving it at some point.
We can't say we haven't had a caller now.
Yeah, now you're our first official caller ever.
That's cool.
We appreciate the support, Aunt Cheryl.
While I got you on the air, I'll just let you know I've finished chemo and I've finished radiation and I'm good to go.
Oh, that's great
There we go.
news. That's great news, Aunt Cheryl.
Now you can, once you get done healed up, you can go wrestle the pigs.
Oh, no, we don't have no pigs on the farm.
Well,
Cows.
you can get some pigs.
And Gary heard a mountain lion the other night attacking a cow.
I thought you said he hurt a mountain lion.
No, he heard.
Oh, heard. Okay, I thought he said he went out there and hurt a mountain lion. I was like, that's it's a good country boy right there. But
No, he heard a mountain lion attacking a cow.
oh, heard. Okay, heard.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
The Cowboys lost.
Me too. I'm glad the Cowboys lost. They're running their mouth after they beat an 8-9 team, but
They're usually one-hit wonders.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And look out for the Rangers this year. It's going to be a great year.
Be interested to see how low this audio is when we go back and listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can hear
Yeah.
Aunt Cheryl, but
I don't know. The Rangers are probably not going to do anything either. But
Rangers are winning the World Series. I got $50 on it. It's like 50 to 1 pay or something.
the Rays are going to take it all. Probably not.
No, not this year. Okay.
All right, then.
Well,
thanks for calling in and being the
all
first
right.
official caller.
The first official caller, Aunt Cheryl.
Hope y'all have a great day, and I got to get back to work.
All right,
Well,
well, enjoy your work.
thank you, Aunt Cheryl.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bye.
All right. Well, there you go. Aunt Cheryl.
Caller, the first official caller ever.
Let me get some. That was great. That's awesome. And about the beating cancer. I didn't really know that about Aunt Cheryl, but that's great news.
Yeah, I didn't feel the need to put her personal business out
Yeah, I
there.
didn't want to really do all that either, but it's out there, and that's a big congratulations. And now for people waiting with bated breath to get to the hot topic of the controversy, you got to tease people, make them wait, you know? I think that's good. But Aunt Cheryl, man, great support. Just text her a big thank you. And we've got plenty of gifts around here to give. But I can't remember where I was with the call. What were we talking about? Sending the nanny to Puerto Rico in our baseball magazine as it relates to the Grand Royal, the Beastie Boys magazine of baseball. I don't know. But
how do you spell no, I was stupid.
I don't know, buddy.
I was like, how do you spell caller? But I was like, oh yeah, ERLL.
Let's get into it. Let's get down and dirty. We gotta
down in the mud.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the mud. Let's give you the Gator, and you give us the Bauer. You give us your Bauer vibes.
Okay, so as of this
everyone knows, if you follow baseball, there was. I didn't read it because I don't like to trash like a big scandal, and I'll let you get into it. But you talk about Dutch's end of it. What you know and what you thought of it, or what you're thinking right now.
All I know is I'm not in the right to judge. I don't know if he did or if he didn't, right? I wasn't there. I wasn't part of that. All I know is that, according to the courts and other people, he's been accused of sexual assault allegations. That's all I know, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not here to.
Yep.
I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to form an opinion on if he's right or wrong. I'm not. That's not my place. I wasn't there. That's not my business. But he is reinstated to play baseball if a team does decide to sign him.
Yeah.
For the league minimum of $720,000. So.
Do you think that's going to happen?
A team going to sign him?
Yeah, because I don't.
No. Unfortunately, no.
I don't think.
Now, there's a rumor that he's going back to the Reds, but.
Nah, I don't know. I'm not sure about all that. We'll fade out of the Gator bump music for that, and then we'll go wide. But
then again, that was just a rumor. I mean, he's. I don't know, man. It's tough, man.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll say about this. I know I don't know, okay? There are people who have not been convicted in a court of law that are probably most definitely guilty. See O.J. Simpson, Exhibit 1, okay?
There's always going to be cases like that, unfortunately.
Okay,
yeah.
There are people who are convicted in the court of public opinion who are not guilty. See Duke Lacrosse. Was it Duke Lacrosse, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah. That was years ago.
It was years ago, but those dudes were convicted before anybody said anything. The whole world rained down on them on what pieces of trash they were. Turned out wasn't like that. Now, is Trevor Bauer and that young lady's case like either of those? Not really. It's completely different, but maybe the point I'm trying to make is you don't really know. Everybody who's popping off on social media like this dude should be, buried under a dump and never see the day of light again. Like they're so sure. It's like, bro, 99% of us got all of our information from social media and flipping websites, which notoriously suck at being accurate. Okay, there's like, and again, so I'm not saying he's like guilty or not guilty. I think only those two know. Obviously something happened. I don't know the extent of it. I understand legally why a prosecutor is not going to prosecute that. The problem in the legal world that guy has is the threshold for a criminal prosecution is beyond a reasonable doubt. And there is too much smoke getting blown from Bauer's side of her posting videos and saying text it gets very confusing for a jury. So the prosecutor he's not saying I don't think he's not guilty or he's innocent. That's not what the prosecutor's saying. He's saying I got 1 million murder cases in LA and I got an insane workload. I don't know if the resources we got, if this case is even winnable at that high of a standard with 12 jurors. Like I got to make 12 people sure, and I can already see how the defense is going to muddy the waters. So they just kick it. Nothing happens in the court of law. Doesn't mean he didn't do it. Doesn't mean he did do it. MLB says, well, we've seen the evidence, and we're saying you're suspended for 2 years. Well, how much are you trusting Manfred and MLB executives? I don't know.
There was that picture they came out to of they were in the next morning. The girl took a photo of them in bed.
There's some video.
He was asleep and she took a picture or something.
But then again, I don't know that. I don't know that girl like I don't know Trevor Bauer. So it's
that's what I'm saying. I'm not. It's not my place to make a judgment, right?
Right, and that's what's killing me is there's a bunch of people. I think it's just like everything else in social media. There's the loudest, a very small percentage of people that are super loud. They're I'm the white knight in shining armor, and these people are he's so bad, and there's virtue signaling. I'm you gotta. There's many possibilities of which none I know. There's actually a real possibility that she had this cooked up, and she's I'm gonna take this dude down and get some money out of him. And you got a guy walking around who wanted to do some kinky stuff with a chick, and he didn't really do it, and now his career's over. That I guarantee no Major League Baseball is going to accept that. Even if they're dude, we don't know, but it's not worth the drama to sign you. Because you could be innocent, dude, but I'm not touching you. That could be I'm not saying that is it. That could be a possibility. It could be that he is a piece of trash, and he does beating up women, and his career is over, and that's just kind of like the results of what you do if you act like that. And she's a innocent, young, sweet girl. So, or there's probably some sort of gray area between she maybe had an agenda and he isn't that nice of a dude sometimes or whatever, and it just gets, it is what it is. But the idea that people are just like out there going, oh yeah, it's dudes, I was like, I don't know, dude. I'm pretty sure you don't have to worry about it if you're a Trevor Bauer hater, because I don't think anybody's going to touch him. But
there's been a shit ton of people too. They're like, if you sign him, we're not supporting this team anymore.
Yeah, and I think probably, like I said, I always think it's like the minority that's the loudest. I think there's like 95% of us are just like sitting on the sidelines like, dude, you got a he said, she said that's pretty muddy. Like, there's been a lot of stuff come out, and yeah, it makes tabloids and helps you sell, you know, your detergent and your magazine or whatever. You like something flashy, but I don't know. It was those two cats getting in the bedroom doing something crazy, went sideways.
But I think the Dodgers still have to pay him.
I think they're paying him millions.
Because he's technically...
Yeah, they got to pay out the rest of his contract.
Because they released him. But, I mean, he has that YouTube channel, Momentum, so there's that. In case, if he doesn't get signed, the chances of him getting signed are very slim.
So, Turnstile's opinion is I don't know. So I'm not really going to get into it. I understand why they don't prosecute. Doesn't mean he's innocent. But then the court of public opinion hating all over it also doesn't mean he's guilty. So like I don't really know the answer. I just like saying that like we've seen this game before where it plays out in the public eye, and it's probably not what anybody really thinks. But I don't know. But I don't think a Major League Baseball team is going to like. You want that media circus? You want to deal with all the press? It's like, dude, I got guys in AAA. I need to get work. You know.
Yeah.
His Cy Young year that's a great ERA, and that's nice, but dude, it was a short season, and I don't know if it's not worth the trouble, man. So I think Trevor, my advice here's my advice from Turnstile: take the cash, you get a big contract, go surfing, become a surfing pro. I think your baseball career is over. When you try to do Taiwan, I was like, dude, it's fun, won't last. I got 10 years in the show. How many years did you have left anyway? Not too many dudes pitch for 20. And just be like, start doing service work with charities, do stuff that makes you happy and is out of the public eye. Just like surf off the coast of like Patagonia or something. I'm not saying he's going to do that. I would do that to the young lady. I would say, dude, I don't know. That sucks that you got beat up like that, and I don't really know if you were asking for rough sex or what happened, but if you're doing that with dudes, don't like try to get beat up in the bedroom. Just have sex normally like the rest of us, right? And then when you tell the cops that you got beat up in the bedroom, you're not going to have this kind of like question, well, you asked for it. And I'm not, and again, it's not her fault. That's totally fine if you want to have rough sex or whatever happened. But I'm just saying, like, dude, that's like impossible if there's those kind of facts provided to a prosecutor. And you're like, I want to prosecute a dude for beating me up. And then all that other stuff comes out, and you're just like, dude, that's a really tough road to hoe for a prosecutor to get some justice for you there. So.
Hopefully
just do it boring missionary like the rest of the world, you know.
Speak for yourself, Slick. I wonder if there's some text that he has where he's like, "No, look, man, she like agreed to this." I don't know, man.
No, there was like there was like some documentation that there was at least arguments and maybe things put forward that it was like consensual rough. I don't know. But it just like there was enough stuff coming out that it was just a prosecutor's nightmare. It's like, dude, I gotta prosecute a he said, she said, and there's all kinds of stuff on either side. You're never gonna get to beyond a reasonable doubt. You're just not gonna get to that. Like civil is preponderance of the evidence. 51% of the people think that. And the court of opinion, I don't know what it is. You got to be convicted of the court of public opinion. Maybe like 10% of the people just think you're a piece of trash, and that's pretty much the end of your career. So I don't really know how it works, but. I think if you don't like Trevor Bauer, you don't have to worry about it because I don't think anybody's going to sign him. That would be a huge headache. But that's the Trevor Bauer take. Turnstile doesn't know, but I'm guessing his years in the show are over, and I don't really know what happened between those two.
But yeah,
that's the Trevor Bauer segment. Was that controversial enough? Following on the heels of your lovely Aunt Cheryl.
That was a pretty controversial topic because I mean, not many people
try not to end our careers talking about it, because people will just take what you say, and then the next thing you know is like, I'm not supporting either of them. I'm just saying there's been enough instances, right? I'm sorry for talking over you, bud, but there's just been, like, we've seen ones that have been in the public eye where you're like sure they're a horrible person, and then it kind of comes out later. It's like, oh, that was not that clear cut. I don't know if that's his case, but I'm sorry, but apologize. I talk too much. Get some water.
And I'm sure people nowadays, especially with everything being on media, like online, dude, you can take pieces of an interview and chop it up to where it make it sound like they're just talking shit about someone. Because you could say so and so's not an asshole, and you just cut it out. The not part was like so and so's an asshole, like.
Yeah, like I saw people like posting snippets from his deposition on things that he admitted to, that he was, this and that. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't look good, but.
People always take everything
depositions are, I don't know. I mean, they can last all day long with a lot of attorneys trying to piss you off and get you to say just about anything. And you talk that long, you'll probably say just about anything. I'm not saying I don't know.
Especially with headlines, man. A lot of people don't even read the story. They just read the headlines, and then they form an opinion off that. So-and-so said this. It's like clickbait, right? Like,
and I'm not going to waste the time researching the case perfectly so I can make some argument against somebody on social media. Yeah. It's like, no, you're saying he's not a piece of trash. Maybe the dude is a piece of trash, dude. I'm not going to waste too much of my time. I'm like 99% of the people on this, like, cursory internet stories and social media about a he said, she said. If people out there aren't smart enough to understand that this is a he said, she said, and we don't really know what happened, then I guess they're just geniuses, and they know exactly what happened and who those people are. I don't know them. Don't know what happened.
Usually is the type of person who's like talking shit about you. Oh, you don't know shit. Well, neither do you, Mr. Joe, are working receiving at Home Depot. What do you know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like
it's not my place to judge, because I didn't know. Yeah, I'm not part of that whole thing. I wasn't there. I don't know them. Based off momentum, the YouTube channel, Trevor Bauer seems like a cool ass dude.
I don't know.
But before this whole sexual...
See, people are going to take that. They're going to just snip that. Dutch Chattahoochee thinks Trevor Bauer's a cool-ass dude, and they're going to try to end you. Our 4 viewers.
I will say, though, that...
I'm not even willing to say that, because I don't know that dude,
Before all this sexual allegation stuff, I don't remember him ever getting in trouble for anything else, right?
I kind of remember some teammates saying he was a huge asshole because he played with me in college, but I don't know.
I didn't.
I just repeat stuff secondhand, even if I hear it wrong.
Yeah, this is what I heard.
But Dutch doesn't think he's a cool ass dude. I'm just gonna cover for you there. We don't know that guy.
Based off momentum, he seems like a cool dude. I'm not saying
just digging the hole deeper.
I'm not saying he. Listen though, I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he isn't. Just that.
Well, of course, the channel's gonna portray you.
No. Listen.
Yeah.
Not the whole sexual allegations things. That's separate. But when he says
something, like if you didn't know that and you just tuned in from northern Mongolia.
Yeah, because some people when you talk to them, they come off as an asshole. So when something bad happens, like, oh yeah, they see what they do.
But I don't know the guy. Yeah, but yeah, he's still doing stuff on YouTube, and that might have to be it. So
hey, but just because I'm not in the right to speak on it.
It's a touchy one for the people that are.
I'll let the judges speak on this.
Yeah, for the people that are so certain, I would just say this: half of being smart is knowing what you don't know. And when you're talking about men and women in a bedroom, we probably don't know exactly what happened.
In the meantime, I'm going to sip on this amazing pitch black Mountain Dew.
All right. Hopefully, we navigated that without too much damage. And it's not like anybody's, our numbers are where they are.
Unless
Cheryl and I don't know. I'd like to think
Samantha listens.
Maybe like a super famous baseball journalist. He just doesn't want to come out like George Will somewhere back in D.C. like watching this.
And right now I had to stay calm because normally when I'm speaking on something I get a little vocal But my professional opinion had to.
That's probably the most controversial one we've covered. We usually just talk about like old-time Japanese baseball players and historical funny names, and that's a hot topic.
There's been a lot of recent sports news, especially with the whole Ed Reed and the HBCU thing, and Deion Sanders leaving to go to Colorado and all that.
Oh yeah, I do have a couple comments on Deion Sanders, but I don't know if I can do it.
I like Deion. A lot of people were upset. Like, oh, you turned your back on HBCU.
HBCU? What's that?
Historically black college. Like the HBCU.
Oh. What? Like,
because he was a coach, at Jackson State, and
Jackson State.
A lot of people said.
Shout out Jose Gutierrez.
But like I'm not, obviously I don't really have a lot to speak on that. I don't know a whole lot about it. But like, how long did he need to stay at your school before you were allowed him to leave and not get mad at him?
Yeah, right. Like the dude's career was.
Because he did a lot for Jackson State.
Up.
He got him really cool locker rooms, a new field. You know, he made him really like the team was good as fuck.
Yeah.
And like, you can't blame someone for taking a better job with more pay and a better opportunity. Because like, how many, you know what I'm saying? How many 5-stars could you really get at Jackson State? You know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he got, and I think all like.
He did
the
sign
Sanders,
that one,
isn't it like his boys? They'll all transfer portal to Colorado with him, like Shadur and that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for leaving. You know, there's a better opportunity. He was like they were saying like, how many amazing players can he get to come to Jackson State?
Amazing athlete, good baseball player. So like, what his stats were in MLB. He wasn't an automatic out. Dude was a great, obvious base stealer.
I was watching a little documentary the other day about the Falcons. What was it, like 91 Falcons? Whenever he played for the Falcons.
Yeah.
That beast of a team.
Yeah.
I think it was like right before he went to the Cowboys or something. But
here's my thoughts on primetime. I really like the guy.
Deion.
I mean,
he's cool, yeah.
And I think he's true to who he is. People are like, dude, like we're getting mad. He's like a prayer or something. Like the football team did a prayer, and all these people were pissed. Like, this is a public university, man. Separation of church and state. And I was like, I get that. But here's my problem with the separation of church and state.
I have my own opinion on that.
And I understand like the court cases that are involved, and that's what the Constitution says. Get it? And it's pretty well established. And there's people that can bring a case if they have apparently tons of free time on their hands and sue all the way up to the Supreme Court and get like the 10 Commandments pried out of like some, small town square, if that's what you want to do with your time. Okay. Here's the flip side of the gray area with everything that's not black and white, right? Okay, this is not India. This is not Pakistan. I bet if you went to India and we're like, we need separation of church and state, don't talk about Hinduism, okay? That might be a little bit difficult because that's what that country is, okay? Or we don't want you to talk about, Islam in Pakistan. Separation, and I don't know if they have separation of church and state, but that's how difficult it is in America. This is a country founded by Christians and like Christian pilgrims, and like, so it's ingrained in kind of everything we do.
I also have an opinion on that too, but I won't say it because
and I'm not really a super religious guy. I'm the Bob Hope philosophy. I believe them all because I don't want to miss the afterlife on a technicality kind of thing. Like, I don't really know how the universe works, but I'd like to hope for a bonus round. That said, I got money in my pocket that says, in God we trust. So the division of church and state is never, ever going to be perfect, okay? It's just not. And, like, people trying to say, don't say Christmas. I was like, bro, you're just spinning your wheels and burning calories on stuff it's not a factor.
But the thing, like, to me, I don't want to go to public school, and I don't want you to put your religion in my face.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. Now, if you are religious, that's totally cool. Like, if you want to talk about it, I'll talk about it with you. But I'm not gonna don't force it.
And I'm 100% with you there.
Like, if you're like, hey, are you religious? And I'll say no. And then like, well, do you want to hear? Do you want to talk? Do you want to hear what I have to say? I'll listen. I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe some people are really good at it, but there are also some people in all religions who are like, they force it down your throat. Not everyone, but every religion has their people.
And I'm with you there, and that's why I'm going to kind of like transition that very same thought I have into the fact of how I would personally handle if I was a player for Deion. Like if I was at the University of Colorado and the dude is going to have you pray. Here's what I'm saying. Like, I understand church and state laid all the groundwork that it's never perfect. It's kind of gray area. People are just going to call it Christmas and they're not even Christians. Like, it is what it is. University of Colorado hired a guy who's awesome football coach, probably a really cool dude, but you can't act like there aren't, like, he's a religious guy. He's a very religious, Christ-loving dude.
Yeah,
okay,
if
so
you hear
that's
him in his interviews, he's always talking like that. Yeah.
Okay, like Mike Singletary was like the same way. Okay, so you hire that guy.
Can't win with him.
You can't be like like when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like, dude, we don't want your beliefs. We want you, but we don't want this part of you. That's not how it works. You're getting the whole dude, okay? Now, and that whole dude is going to be having prayers, okay? And it's like it's his free right? Freedom of religion. Like, he can be religious dude, but you're asking him to be the football coach, and I'm sure Deion knows about separation of church and state, but his beliefs are such, he's like, dude, I'm just going to throw out a prayer. And guess what, dude? If you're me, and I'm Ernie Granville, and I'm a cornerback, and I'm a Satan worshiper, and I'm on the University of Colorado, if my coach is prime time, guess what? While he's making us pray, I can think about what I'm getting for dinner. It's not really ruining my life.
Like, I've gone to dinners and stuff with religious people who they pray. I didn't pray, but I just stood there. I wasn't going to be like, what the fuck is this? You know,
it's a non-issue. The guys,
because like, you gotta respect people's like beliefs, even if I don't believe in what you believe. You know, and I think personally, I think whatever, but I'm not gonna jump all over you because you believe something different than I do.
The fact that dude is religious, I'm just gonna let that dude be religious, and yeah, it's up in my face, and maybe he, you know, people are like, well, he could be more, you know, separation of church and state, be more sensitive to me and my needs because I'm a Satan worshiping cornerback. Anthony Turnstile or whatever my problem is, I'm like, dude, this guy's an awesome coach. I'm going to flip, you know, you see he wins a national championship. Let's see how deep-seated all the alumni's opinions are about separation of church and state. Like, it's...
I guarantee you if they were having a prayer thing and one of the players walked out while they were in the middle of it, I'm pretty sure Deion wouldn't care.
He don't care.
He'd be like, okay, we'll come back when it's done.
So just deal with the fact that there, and in Texas, dudes, like, it's always somebody's like posting videos like, look at these dudes like praying after the game. It's like, dude, it's part of American culture. Freedom of religion, freedom over your own mind, you're always going to have. And people that aren't religious are going to be hired as head coaches. So people that are really religious and express it in a different way are going to be hired as coaches. And you don't have to pray. There's not a gun put to your head, but if he was my coach and I was like second string and I wanted to get in the lineup and I was a heathen and I was a pagan and I worshiped goats or whatever, I'd be like, I'm going to sit in the front row, make sure Coach Deion sees me bowing my head, and I'll just be thinking about dinner.
That's not what paganism is about at all.
Really? I don't know.
No, my wife's pagan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. See, look at me just throwing out disrespect. But see, I didn't have like I didn't have a bad heart about it.
There's a lot of it people don't understand. I don't believe in any kind of God. Like, I don't believe there's any higher power.
There's got to be something, man.
But yeah,
we've derailed. We've hit in like two hot topics.
But see, it's okay because it's a lot. Sometimes we can.
You can just talk about it.
We can branch out.
People say they don't talk about politics, religion, all this. Sometimes you just got to talk about it. But yeah, Coach Deion.
It depends though, because some people will like jump all over you. You know, how can you not believe this? How can you not? Or like, say you have a different viewpoint of a politician than someone else does. Like, oh, you're stupid. And it's like, hold on now, hold on.
My problem is with, and you know, like, I'm hoping I don't really know how that would work.
Turnstile for mayor 2024.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'd vote for
like,
you.
I just a person who lacks certainty about almost everything in life. Maybe that's the story of my life. I was just like, I'm a question asking, uncertain dude where I just don't have the conviction. And also, there's like the definitional, very much dividing line between what I know
it's good to ask
and what I
though.
believe.
It's good to be informed about
Those
stuff.
are two different words, mean two different things, and I know what I know or think I know, which is even questionable, and what I believe. And I can sit here and tell you all day, it's like, dude, I don't know what happens when I kick the bucket, and I can tell you what I believe. There's probably something else going on.
I do believe in reincarnation. Like, I do believe that we can come back as something else, like an animal or another person or something.
That'd be dope.
Like, I believe that's a thing because there's been cases, right, where kids have been like, oh, I remember something from the 1930s.
There are some weird
but you know what I'm talking about?
Afterlife.
And so, like, I believe there's something there with that, like reincarnation, because how can a dude who's like 5 years old talk about his childhood home in perfect condition?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was this house, and there was like this in the living room, and then there was a store, and my best friend Joe, and you're like, who is that? You're 5.
That's great. Yeah, there's been some, I forget, there's been some super crazy people. If you talk to people that like work in hospitals that have resuscitated people, they say some weird stuff. And like one of the nurses was like, and this is the one that spooked me because there's always like one story that's just like, what? You know? The nurse was like, she was like, so this dude, we like lost him for like 5 minutes and then like whatever, shocked him, defibrillator, and like brought him back. And And then he like talked about it later because I was like, is like in the room with him, and I was like, what? He was like, dude, you were dead for like 5 minutes or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah. I kind of remember like leaving my body. I could like see all you guys in the operating room, and then I like floated outside the building, and I could like see the hospital from like above. This is according to this is what the nurse said. She's like, and he's like, I could see like the outside of the hospital, and there's like this blue shoe. It's just like resting like on like the little ledge, like one story, like it fell off the roof or something. Like it was just a weird place. And so that nurse was like, that's nuts, dude. So she went up to the roof and like just looked all around, just like walked around the hospital looking on the like the fallen ledges where stuff would like land from birds and bird nests. And no joke, there was like a blue shoe. And after that she was like, what?
There's always stories about they hear about people where they're like, yeah, when I was in the middle of when I was dying, before you brought me back, I could see I was floating. Like people said all the time.
Yeah. So that's weird. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, dude. Must be your whatever, your soul or whatever.
We've covered some ground, dude. We've basically talked about the afterlife and the biggest scandal in baseball going.
Good conversation, though.
It is good. It's interesting.
Might have to retitle the thing, but anyway.
Should we go into UTSA in the golf thing?
Yeah.
I just want to cover.
I didn't play golf, but the people that I was introduced when I met, they seem like legit nice people.
I'm going to go to the shot to you because you can see the Ryan Flores autographed ball right over your shoulder that we've acquired. I'm
going to go get a case for that and put that on my baseball.
That's a good one. He signed two balls.
Baseball shelf that I have at home.
Jonathan Tapia, for all the people out there that are following that guy, had to leave early, and I didn't get we got his autograph on the board.
Yeah. Coach Hallmark was pretty cool.
He's a super nice guy. He's always nice.
Like, he was like, very friendly. He wasn't like, get away or anything.
Right? I've talked to him a couple times, and he's always been really gracious.
He was very engaging. Like, he actually looked at you and was like, okay, I like what you have to say.
Yeah, he was like, thanks for, reintroducing yourself. And we're a, podcast that's just, our numbers are what their numbers. I'm looking at
sometimes some people, like, you can tell.
2 viewers right now, which are probably us and Cheryl.
3 watching.
3 watching? We have 3? Oh, my gosh. Thanks for watching.
We're popular.
Or we had 3 concurrent viewers at one point in time. So the fact that you're that cool of a guy that you're like, hey, man, thanks, they were super nice.
Yeah,
and Jada Hallmark put it together, so shout out to Miss Hallmark.
And then it was funny, though. Like, you could tell, like, some of the people that were there were, like, legit badass golfers.
And there's the rest of us.
I was cracking up what you were wearing. You're just like, everybody's wearing their golf outfit. You're like, fuck it, I'm going to wear pants.
I just wore whatever. Me and Tap were just, like, and Flores was pretty good at golf. But I like talking to him about baseball because it's just like it just kind of works out that way. He's very San Antonio baseball because he was at UIW and then he played summer for the Chanclas and then went to UTSA. So is it just like a baseball fan going around catching games in the neighborhood because UIW is right up Broadway? Yeah. I've seen Flores play so much, and it's just one of those things. Every time I saw him, I always thought like the sabermetric where they talk about barrels, like high barrel rate. That's what I was telling him. I was like, dude, you got a crazy high barrel rate, man. That dude barreled. Even his outs, man. You get the barrel on the ball. Good rhythm at the plate.
That's how you get good hits. Because a lot of times, like when I go to D-bat, a lot of times, I think I'm sitting too close to the plate. But when I swing, a lot of times the ball's like close to the handle. Like I gotta move away.
The barrel rate.
Yeah, I gotta move away. But
that flow barrels rate. They got. But they had a good time, and I had a good time, and Josh Kleen's dad, Tim, was hilarious. He was kind of like the leader of the pack, getting that force him through.
They had a nice lunch too. They gave us those hamburgers.
Yeah, it was like hamburgers and fajitas or whatever.
Some sweet gear they hooked us up with.
So
those Fireball ones.
I think teams look good this year. I went back and looked at there's some of their stats from last year and like reliving the Southern Miss regional the conference tournament at Southern Miss and how good those guys were and how hot that team was. But Flores hit 2 dingers. In my mind, I was like, dude, I just thought he hit more, but he hit 2 dingers there. And then if you remember, Malone pitched 9 innings in relief and got the win in the first game. Malone was awesome last year. I'm really rooting for the guy to have a great year this year. And they got some pieces coming back. But losing Ian Bailey, Chase King, Tap, and Flores, that's a lot of offense. That's a lot of offense to replace. So, but they're a good team, good gloves, good pitching. So I really like their pitching. So high hopes for the Roadrunners this year. But that was cool. So got to take a look at they got some dudes that were injured last year. They got a Big Nasty Sardashny and I talked to Jay Ward and Poston. I really like Poston's approach at the plate. So that's. Poston gets on base a lot, hits a lot. Guys are good at bat. But that was UTSA. That was UTSA, folks. Check out the Roadrunners. Look at their resume from last year and ask me how they didn't get into the tournament. I don't know.
Do you have any picks for your college playoff teams this year? Like, do you think who's going to do good? Who do you have?
It's hard to know because it's such a large field. You got to spend so much time kind of getting down into the weeds with what offense graduated, what sort of freshmen and JUCO transfers are coming in, that the workload to discover who you think might be, because you can look at like JUCO recruiting classes, and I know there's college dudes out there that are actually taking the labors. They probably don't have like 3 kids screaming at home, but like have the hours to like dig into those rosters as they turn over every year and make best guesses. But it's never, even best guesses are fun for articles and like preseason rankings, but you don't know until you play what that team's made of. So it's really high hopes. I don't really have any guesses. I do think I think UTSA will be good. They do return a lot of guys.
They'll definitely make it. They'll definitely make it to the playoffs this year. From a ha-ha bias funny standpoint, who I want to see in the final 2, obviously I want to see Nebraska and Texas State.
Yeah, Texas State's looking real good.
And Texas State was Nebraska last year, so. But Texas State was good. They made it to the playoffs, but
they lost Dalton Sheffield.
I want to see Texas State and Nebraska. That'd be my pick.
Gonzalez is back, and he raked and played for the River Monsters. So and they got some pieces. So baseball around here is great. I'm excited to go check out. Also, it's like Trinity and UIW. You got Warren Laster over there. You got it's a lot of good baseball to be seen.
Yeah, it's Texas State.
I guess UIW is D1. Their football was like D1. They went off. They were like a 10-11-1 or something.
I think this year the if it comes down to like the last minute thing with like UTSA last year, I think this year the committee who picks the teams might be a little lenient towards them, right? Probably.
I don't know. Well, here's the one thing. So like if I was going to flip, because there's a lot. I mean, there's probably other people. I think it was like NC State got left out, and there's teams with beefs. So UTSA definitely had a legitimate beef.
Yeah.
But the one flipper, nothing against DBU, but there was like looking at resumes, I was like, I don't know. And they don't want, they're like, we don't want all these teams from this conference that we don't think's a strong conference in. It's too many or whatever. But DBU got in and UTSA didn't, and I thought UTSA was really hot and had a great team, and I want to see them get a shot. So that will be answered this year because now they're in the same conference with the conference shakeup. So they'll play DBU 3 times this year, and I got a chance to win that conference tournament. But
that's why I'm looking forward to the episode where we do a season preview.
Do some season previews. Look at some numbers. It'll be good.
Because I could see Ole Miss possibly repeat. I don't think they'll repeat, but
Ole Miss.
They'll do some
Ole
shit.
Ole Miss and my recruiting violations. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's right. You were going to go there, right, at one point?
Yeah. Yep. And that tuition scholarship. But then they were like, no, it's only in-state. It's like, that's not what you told me. Well, no, they could give you more. They're really, like, baseball's really handcuffed with the amount of scholarships you're allowed to give. I think it used to be like 21.5. I don't know, but you got to like split them up between all the guys and try to get people money. But it's not that easy to recruit with the scholarship money. But I was gonna look up the Andy Brown and see if I could do the. There it is. There's the Andy Brown, and then I can go to OBS and I can do screen share. Isn't that like a thing? Display capture.
Yeah.
Turn that like that. Oh, and then it gets the. Nope. Window capture? Is that it? Doesn't it usually... I guess it's the delay, but maybe not. I thought you could do the... Image video capture device. Oh, I see what it is. Let's do display capture. I think it's this. I think this should work. And then we can go to Andy Brown. You tell me if you can actually see that.
All right, well, it's a little delayed. So, I mean, if it is showing, I'm not seeing it now.
Yeah,
so
I don't see it.
It takes a couple.
I don't even see it in OBS. So that's never a good sign.
It's probably not working.
Probably not working.
So, yeah, to sum up the college baseball talk, my picks are for the final two, Texas State and Nebraska.
Texas State and Nebraska. Who's like Nebraska, Midwest baseball, man. It's cold, but they got some ball players out there. And Creighton's out there in Nebraska somewhere. You a Creighton fan?
Because you have two Nebraska schools. You have that one, and you have the University of Nebraska at Omaha. But I think the big one is at Lincoln.
Nebraska.
Yeah. 'Cause I remember when I was a kid, man, Nebraska was kicking ass at football.
Didn't Creighton win? Creighton baseball, they won the World Series. And people were like, "What? Who's that?"
What? Possibly.
Creighton baseball, and Creighton is Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. See, Creighton Blue Jays, by the way, and I think they won it all. I think they won it all one of those years. 1991 College World Series advanced. They beat the Hawaii Rainbows. How about that? In the regionals.
Dude, those throwback Hawaii uniforms are the
Pepperdine.
best.
Yeah, the 90s College World Series were awesome. And I think that's when they were still doing it at, the stadium over by the zoo, not the new Ameritrade Park or whatever. It had such a cool name. I forget. Let's see who was on that. College World Series. Shockers defeated the Jays in 12 innings. Oh, yeah, Wichita, right? You got all kinds of good Wichita State Shockers. They had a huge closer, too. But, yeah, they had a good ball club. College World Series appearances won in 1991. A heck of a team. Notable baseball players include Bob Gibson. I guess I didn't realize Bob Gibson went to Creighton. There you go. Bob Gibson, Dave McKay, Pat Vendette, and I want to say, was Pat Vendette the guy that was like ambidextrous? He threw with both arms? Could be. Scott Stahoviak, Scott Service, Chad McConnell, and Alan Bennis. I'll be danged. And I think Bob Gibson, he played all kinds of sports at Creighton. He's like, played everything there. And then Wichita State, Wichita, Kansas, Midwest baseball gets good. They had let me try to find that closer they had. They had a gasser.
Speaking of closers and pitchers and things like that, let's not forget the Nebraska great Jabba Chamberlain.
Joba.
Is
it Jabba or Joba?
I pronounce it Jabba, but I think
Joba.
I've heard people say Joba and Jabba, but I always say Jabba. I could be wrong. You know, I've heard it pronounced that way before.
I know from Star Wars, but I'm not even going to make that reference on that dude because he's a big guy. But Jabba, or Jabba or Joba, Joba Chamberlain, good dude, great player. Yankees got a good one in him. There was like a funny tweet. There was like some random baseball picture of him putting on bug spray, and then he retweeted. It says he's like, yeah, that didn't work.
And just like myself, he's a fellow Nebraskan.
Yeah, Johnny Rosenblatt Stadium. That was the old.
Because he's from Jabba Chamberlain's from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, Creighton played most of their games in the same College World Series stadium in Rosenblatt. I didn't realize that. So there you go. Creighton baseball. Walk down memory lane with those dudes. But that's some ball players. I'm trying to think. Yearly records. Let's see what their most recent records. They're still a winning ball club. COVID year they didn't do so hot. Went to regionals.
You talk about Creighton?
Yeah, Creighton's still pretty good. Midwest ball.
Probably some of the best baseball you'll see. Isn't there like a lot of isn't California also a hot spot for baseball?
Well, honestly, you could pick any state. You could say that, but certainly California. I'm trying to see the '90s guy.
Mean, Texas got some players. Let's not get that wrong.
Texas, Cali, always. Northwest, no slouch. Tim Lincecums of the world.
I know you have a story about that guy because, who was it that passed on him? The Mariners.
I'll never forgive the Mariners.
Yeah, the Mariners passed on
Hometown,
him.
homegrown, everything was there for you, M's, and you blew it. You didn't blow it on the Griffey draft, though. That was smart. But you've blown a lot of draft picks, including Lincecum. It's right there for you, right in your backyard. And as I always say, they weren't technically wrong that he was going to blow out his arm, but you still should have burned the pick because he was a freak. University of Washington throwing 100 miles an hour. How can you not? Because here's my thing with Lincecum. If you're throwing 100 miles an hour at UW and you can see the stuff he had, it's not like you had to worry about we're going to use up a bunch of time in the minors. Just like, dude, the guy was going to be in the show next year. You just had to manage his innings that year. Giants got 2 Cy Youngs out of the guy. Super 2. 2 Cy Youngs, and probably paid him like $1 million a year or something. Nothing. All right. Let's get into Andy Brown and Kaoru Betto. And I can't do I don't know why OBS won't let me do a displays capture. That's so crazy to me. Can't you? Isn't that like a thing?
You can as a way, but I've never worked with it because
it should technically work. I just turned it on. I don't know if it's like some crazy delay. Because display capture is display capture, right? It should be capturing. It should be like one of those little things that goes, and it's just like a million.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like capturing me looking at me in OBS.
Multiply that by 20.
Multiplied through infinity. But it's like when you click on it in OBS, it's not really.
I think if I was doing a show by myself, I would just have that up for the hell of it and do a live show like that.
All right. Well, I was going to pull up Andy Brown's webpage, but I'm not. And I'm not going to take the Beto thing off the wall. Well, I guess I have to because I'm talking about Kaoru Betto. So let me get that real quick.
While you're getting that,
on you. Boink.
While you're getting that, let's talk about how University of Nebraska baseball is going to run the table this year. They're the Cornhuskers are going to the playoffs.
Did you pull their page or?
I just know. I
have
just
the gut feeling.
I feel it, and so I'll put a list together with some stats and facts and things, and give you a good perspective as to why they'll make it to the playoffs.
Maybe the Skiing River Monsters can get some. Look at this. Look at this beauty.
Get some Nebraska players. So if anybody from University of Nebraska Cornhuskers is listening,
wants to call in like Aunt Cheryl.
Or if you're looking for a place to play in the summer, come down to Seguin, Texas. It's a good spot. You'll get some good reps in, learn a lot, meet some cool people. You know what I mean?
It's not going to stay.
So I'm just making my pitch,
Yeah. How long have we been on the air for? I don't have any idea.
5 days. No.
Is the audition still going?
According to this,
let's do some bump music while we're messing around.
57 minutes. So about an hour.
So about an hour? We're on time. Get some tunes going up here. Is that some Lebowski music? We need to go back to the lo-fi. What's this one? Let's see this one. Oh, that's nice. You picked that one out.
Yeah, the little jazz little thing.
Let's talk about Kaoru Betto and the Big Lebowski. I had some stuff I was going to show you. You can Google it and find the same pages I'm finding. I don't know, like the Kaoru Betto was a Japanese baseball player from born in 1920, died in 1999. Fairly nice long life on planet Earth. Played baseball. Really only about 10 years, 1948 to 1957. I do think he was like MVP in 1950. But look at this dude's... I always look at people's stature because you always think like big, huge dudes hit tons of dingers. 5'11", 165. Nishino-miya, Japan is where he was born. Went to Koyo High School in Japan. Not the biggest dude in the world. Look at these numbers from 1950. Hit 335.
Dude, this guy wore glasses while playing.
Yeah, he wore little spectacles.
Dude, that's sick.
Right? And his OPS that season was like over 1. It was like 1.068, or as we sometimes say, 1,000. Because we say they batted 300, it's really .35. But hit 300, 105 RBIs, 43 bombs. That at that time was kind of an insane amount for NPB, playing for Manichi that year, the Orions or Orions, however you're going to say it. Heck of a year, great player. The year before he hit 39 dingers. Those, like, honestly, if this was like in the 90s, I would say PEDs, because those 2 years are such an aberration. The most he ever hit any other year was 18. So he broke 20, but he almost had like 40-year.
He's not exactly a big dude either.
Not a big dude, but Kaoru Betto, heck of a player. But the interesting thing, like if you didn't, he was the NPB Pacific League, the first Pacific League MVP, and led the team to victory in the Japan series.
Honestly, though, this guy looks like he's a ball player.
He's a ball player. Righty, swinging righty.
Those glasses those glasses are cool. I'm glad you don't see people wear glasses anymore.
He's cool. But one of my favorite films is The Big Lebowski. And
you guys there's a couple people that wears glasses. So like the guy from the Dodgers, that closer, he wears those little goggle glasses thing.
Yeah, they got the Oakleys, whatever you can put the lenses into now.
Yeah.
But in that movie, and I can't remember if he's wearing it in more than one scene, like he changes shirts or he's just like kind of like me where he just wears like the same nasty t-shirt. But at some point, the dude gets called back to the Big Lebowski's mansion and broken the news on Bunny Lebowski's kidnapping. And he's wearing this shirt that has Kaoru Betto and like 3 Japanese kanji symbols, which kind of they translate to like, I don't know. It's a Buddhist thing. I think it actually translates. I forget where they had it stenciled. It roughly translates into strongly influential, but I don't think that. I've read other stuff that said it was like the same thing. That was. It has to do with Buddhism, or what Siddhartha Buddha said when he was like sitting under the tree or something. But anyway, really pretty random. If you're a baseball fan, it's kind of awesome. And he wears it, which I didn't realize, a similar type shirt. And this is what? BAMF style, BAMF style, this Lebowski article. He wears it in The Fisher King. Have you ever seen the movie The Fisher King?
No.
Messed up movie. Super messed up movie. I can almost kind of recommend it. And
1991 film, yeah.
Yeah, I can recommend it. You know when they have like a comedian like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams play something dramatic, it's kind of really powerful. It was like that. Robin Williams is this crazy guy. He is the Fisher King, run around Central Park.
I see. So he's trying to help this guy who, I guess,
who like suffered like this insane trauma. So it's a really weird, but it's a pretty well done movie. But he also has a Kaoru Betto shirt, and then he wears it one other time in apparently a horrible movie that I have never seen. So I can't say it's horrible. Cold Feet from 1989. So Kaoru Betto makes 3 appearances, but the one that I got for Christmas looks just like the one that he's got in The Big Lebowski, which is awesome. And all I can say is Kaoru Betto was awesome. I now have this Andy Brown Kaoru Betto art, which means so much to me because he's such an awesome artist, and it's an original. But there's such a thread through my life with Kaoru Betto, how much I love the NPB and The Big Lebowski, where Walter Sobchak famously said, "Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass?" I mean, find me a better line in any movie ever. It's classic.
And can't forget about Jesus, man. Comes in with that when he's doing his ball and he's like,
Jesus. It's like the entire thing is, Donnie, you're out of your element.
Am I the only fucker around here? And he pulls out the gun.
It's so great. I went to one of my Marine Corps buddies knows the guy that played the dude's landlord very closely. That guy's a great actor and apparently a great guy. I'll find him. I'll find that actor, but he passed away sadly. The dude's landlord. But anyway,
that lady.
No, it was the guy. He goes, "Hey, can you come see my?"
Oh, I'm thinking of the other bowling movie with Woody Harrelson in it.
Oh yeah.
And we had that lady as a landlord.
Marty, the dude's landlord. Guy's name is Jack Keller. He's the dude's dancing landlord. He has like he's in a ton of movies. He's in Point Break, Waterworld. But Jack Keller, my buddy Frank was like close friends with him and said he was just absolutely most one of the wonderful human beings ever. But his performance in Big Lebowski was also
it sounds like a movie. My buddy
phenomenally hilarious. So, rest in peace, Jack Keller, great guy. And get yourself a Kaoru Betto shirt if you like baseball and Andy Brown and the Big Lebowski.
Let's make a movie called My Buddy Frank. That sounds like a cool movie.
Well, that's a good one. So there's the Andy Brown Kaoru Betto thing. I'll do some outro music with that one. We had a call in. That's an outro on Betto.
Yeah.
A little classical there on the way out. And all I've got left maybe is teasing our magazine that will probably never be published unless Kashiana gets it out the door with her skills.
It's coming. It's
got a great cover.
It's just a while down the road.
It's got a table of contents and some other stuff. We have articles. Shout out to MPB Card Guy. But I just cannot travel with the children, buddy. It's
tough.
It's impossible.
Especially when you're leaving the country and going to another.
Even if you go for a day, like found a flight down and back, it's just onerous to ask the missus to watch 3 little ones and do all the pickups and drop-offs. So you just can't get away. But I think there's a lot of, especially with like winter baseball, you know, the Roberto Clemente winter leagues down there, and Lightem, all that stuff. That's so interesting. There's some cool fields down there, but I want to get some on-the-scene reporting with want some on-the-scene reporting on Puerto Rican baseball fields. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if people can see around our stadium, but that particular segment is cut slightly short because I could do display capture and show you the stadium we're talking about and kind of tease it, but
can't see it.
I don't know what's going on with I don't know how to do that. I feel like that should work, but I don't know what happens there. Well, that doesn't work.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, dang. What?
Like, oh, dang.
I don't know. I don't really know. Anyway,
What
if you watch it, if you're a veteran of the show, I guess it was like, oh, you know what? It's probably there. It's just like off screen somewhere.
Maybe. You ever like?
Oh, there it goes. I got it. So there's display capture. There goes the. It's got the thing going. So now we go.
You switched to you earlier, and it just on YouTube it just now showed it. So it's like 2-3 minutes behind.
Yeah. So.
But it's there.
Here it is. If you're looking, this is Google Maps, and these are the stadiums in Puerto Rico. And there's some historical stadiums. There, Josh Gibson, I believe, has played at Estadio Sixto Escobar. And there's some cool stuff. But I was like, you know what's interesting is when you do you put a stadium right in the middle of kind of like a city environment, not a bunch of parking lots around it. Look at this thing. Estadio Cabo Joaquin Robles, who, by the way, is a Vietnam veteran. Thank you for your service, sir. A little research on him. I'm not going to go into it, but young Puerto Rican man went to Vietnam. Look how close that is to the beach. Look at this thing. There it is, folks. Square field. Beach is like right here. And then there's like, why don't you just rent a condo in the Dolphin Tower? Watch like the youth of Puerto Rico. Pudge Rodriguez probably played at some tournament on this field. You don't even know it. Just gunning people down.
Don't even know it.
You know? I mean, Dickie Thon probably played on that field. Right? I don't know, but I'm saying yes.
There's no question he did.
He had to have played on the field.
He's Puerto Rican, right? Or
yeah. Dickie Thon played on that field, and then he was probably like, you know how there's like young kids that have a mustache, you know? Because like there's the early baseball card of Dickie Thon without a mustache, but his mustache is so powerful that I feel like he must have been like one of the 12-year-olds that could have a mustache, and he just teases you with it. I'll give it to you when I want to. I'm Dickie Thon.
There's a card at home that I got that is a contender to Dickie Thon in terms of mustache game.
Okay, let me go back.
He is a contender.
Uh-oh. Let me do that. Now it's back to us.
I'm gonna bring it in and show you. He's a contender to Dickie Thon in terms of yeah. I think his name's Mitch Williams or something. I can't remember, but
what Wild Thing?
No, it was Doug Williams maybe. I think it's Doug.
Yeah, Doug Williams.
I think that's who it was.
I think he played for the Stros too. I could be wrong, but I think great
that's
mustache.
Dude, that's the card I have at home.
Yeah.
The Doug Williams, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so that's coming up. Baseball Zeno, and really what we have left
is it Doug?
What
was his name, dude?
I don't know. How long have we been rolling for? I can always look at Audition and find it. It's impossible to know. There's no time signature that I can see.
Oh, yeah, on YouTube, it's over like an hour and 10.
Yeah, that's where we're at. That's a good come back into the studio sort of show. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Trevor Bauer's never going to play Major League Baseball again, and I have virtually little opinion on that because nobody really knows.
I do think there's like a 1% chance that someone's just going to be like, you know what? Forget what the fans say. Let's just bring him in and see what happens.
I kind of agree with you. I think it's that low of a chance, though.
Yeah,
Let me give some outro bump.
I do believe, though, there is 1%. Some team right now.
I mean, they're considering it. Like, the conversation is probably being had, and then, like, the one dude in the room's like, I don't know, that's pretty cheap. And they're like, dude, you don't want that. You don't want to even touch that with a 10-foot pole. And then, like...
It's going to be one of those dirty organizations.
I don't know who that is, but
yeah, so
it's just like that conversation doesn't go well in any executive office. And if you're like the AAA guy that's trying to make the rotation and they sign that dude, you're just like,
you know what? I'm dropping out. I'm going to go play in Japan.
It's like F this organization. All right, let's pick what our outros. I'm going to play all 6 outros so everybody can get a taste of our bumpers, and you're going to tell me what we're going to outro with.
I have a feeling it's going to be 6.
Because we haven't done all these. We like the swamp music. So here's the Gator that we love that one, but that's kind of our intro.
I
don't know if we've used it that much.
We do have a lo-fi song in there somewhere.
I love that one. Okay, there's that one. This is kind of outro-ish.
To me, that's more of like a coming in kind of thing. Like the slow ride into town. Right?
Oh, you know what? We have one more segment, though.
What's that?
Grand Royal Magazine. Because that's like, that kind of goes back to the Puerto Rico Ventures and article. I don't know if people know about Grand Royal Magazine. See that right there? That's a magazine published by the Beastie Boys.
There's that one cover where the guy's wearing a baseball helmet, like a batting helmet.
Yeah,
like, that's like a practice helmet, kind of like a coach helmet or something.
Yeah. Lee Perry has the New York Mets ice cream helmet on.
Dude, I want to get one of those and wear it. But I want to get like a legit helmet, right, that'll fit.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like the manager helmets, the ones that they kind of, or the catcher's helmet. I want to get one of those and wear that around. That'd be cool. You know, no one does that. Nobody does that.
If you don't know who Lee Perry is, look him up. He's prolific. We'll just go out with this and kind of cover the idea behind the magazine. There's no qualms. I'm not trying to obfuscate or I am biting the style. I am absolutely intend to rip off the glory and beauty of Grand Royal Magazine for the purposes of an obscure tangential baseball magazine.
Designs are always borrowed.
Yeah. It's in for those that don't know.
Just like with Supreme, the box logo, Supreme stole that from somebody else.
And if any Beastie Boys fans like tune into this, and maybe one of there can't be that many people with full sets. You have to be a real Beastie Boys nut because this one right here is so hard to find. That's the first issue. Maybe 2,000 of those on the planet. How many are left? I don't know. You find one on eBay, I don't care if it's $600. You buy it. But it was published by the Beastie Boys it started published when they moved out to LA for a couple of years. About the time they're making Paul's Boutique. They had the studio and they wanted to make this magazine. You got, here's another one. There's only 6 issues. And then they're just like, dude, we don't have time for it. We'll publish one. There's no schedule. Like, they had issue 1 and then like 18 months went by before issue 2. It was very irregular. and then they wrapped it up. But that's actually a pretty good business model for a magazine, right? Because it is now like if you're publishing like I need to be Time Magazine and sell advertising, you're gonna fail. But if you're like as baseball, we're collectors, it's a collector's item now, and it stands for what's stands for. You can go back and read that stuff, and it's still awesome and hilarious. So if we're baseball historians, if we're baseball reporters, and we want to write articles about games that we've seen, places we've been, and things that's interesting to us, no matter how eclectic and non-mainstream it is, then Baseball Zeno or whatever its title will be will stand for. And then you don't have to publish a million of them. You can like self-publish and people buy them on Twitter or whatever. Just pay for the cost to print, and now you have a collectible. And you see how long you can keep that going, keep writing baseball and keeping track of baseball stories. And it's just cool pictures. I like having, there's digital. I like having it in my hand. That's the idea. But the Grand Royal business style is what we're trying to do. And we've teased it before. I don't know if we'll ever get it out before. We're trying to work with more people.
I see. What is this one here? Hold on.
It's like the booty shaker.
Yeah, the Beast Booty.
The Beast Booty, the Beats Booty base issue. That's issue 5. Lee Perry was the second issue.
Did the Beastie Boys? Did they also have like a
pinball machine? That is. You got to find them on eBay. I guess this is issue 4. What you got here? This is probably 3. Issue 3 is the Moog. Like that one. No, what were you asking, Earl?
I was saying, the Beastie Boys, did they design the look too?
Yeah, they had a friend of theirs. They kind of like had this whole thing in the office. They were trying to.
So they had like a hand on the design, right?
Yeah. It was like basically self-published, except because they were kind of huge stars, they could get a little bit more backing to like do a regular magazine run. But I think even like issue 6, like the circulation maybe ever was on it was like 20,000, which is pretty small.
Especially for that time, knowing magazines were.
Yeah, like I don't know if it like showed up in skate shops or what it was, but
I'm sure it probably did. It looks like especially the Wheaties box one, that looks like a skater magazine.
So yeah, it was just kind of like doing the indie DIY stuff that we like to do, and we've got is that issue 6? I think that's number 6. So that's the last one. After that, dude.
Did you find all these on eBay or something?
No more Grand Royal. Yeah, the Beastie Boys book, I highly recommend. They have a number of them, but the Beastie Boys book is awesome, and they talk a lot about how that got published and that whole thing. So very cool. Get yourself some Grand Royals if you can ever find issue 1. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if an issue 1 of Grand Royal is going to sell for like $1 million, but I probably would never sell mine. I think it's that cool. I probably should put it in a safe deposit box, but anyway.
Never ever sell it? Never ever?
Never ever. But that's the last segment, and now we can do rappers. Wrap it up. Review what.
At least you're talking about rappers. I was like, okay.
Wrapping the whole show up. I can bounce my pen.
I know you saw on Twitter, but I posted
I
posted 2 more artwork from the upcoming album.
Did you?
Yeah.
I like it. So you want to talk a little bit about your experience as an Oscar-winning actor in the Dutch Chattahoochee interview? So good.
My experience? Well, I knew I was going to do great. Clear it out. No, it was fun. I had a lot of fun time.
Did you think the Emmys were going to call that quick?
No, because they told me usually you got to do at least like 10 films and have like 3 or 4 nominated ones. Yeah, but they were like, based off this alone.
I think so.
They said that like maybe next year this film, the film that we did, the little interview, might be brought up again for a second look because there was too many awards that didn't get handed out. Like an award that I should have got, you should have got as what do you call it, interviewer of the year.
Maybe. I might have my journalist credentials pulled out for that one. Do you want to talk about goals? That was one thing you're talking. You're like, let's do goals, man. Just begin.
Well, just personal goals, show goals,
Yeah.
Hopefully this is my last year in school because right now I have 6 classes left, but I'm taking 2, so that'll leave only 4 more.
4 more. What are you taking? You taking like film production?
I'm taking advanced video and then production management.
You can manage me. Get this thing under control.
We learned how to do Premiere or After Effects. Premiere.
What class is that being taught in? The
Advanced
production?
Video.
Oh, advanced video?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the teacher in there is like, I know you guys were doing Avid, but he pretty much said, fuck Avid. No one uses that shit. He's like, everybody, because he's a filmmaker, he showed us some of his films and stuff. He's like, no one uses Avid. Everybody uses Premiere.
I'm glad I spent that time in Avid.
And so, like, when he said that, I got a little excited. Like, I know how to use Premiere. So, like, there's going to be obviously things I will learn, but for the most part, I know, like, I can understand it. You know. That's
good, and that's what we're using now. I tried to do Avid, and you just get pushed.
Like,
you just get pushed into Premiere.
It took a while to make the video, but I had fun like piecing, like when we pieced it together, the video.
Your edit was great, buddy. I appreciate that. As you know, I'm running around. I'm trying to like get insurance. I got a cat that's about to go on a hospice.
I came back that day from the golf thing, and I literally sat there the whole time till I left.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta.
I sat there for like 5 hours straight, literally 5 hours straight. And edited the video. I didn't even go get food. I just sat there. I was like, okay, like we gotta get this done.
I was out there crushing 3 irons with tap. Shout out to Chase Gang. Couldn't make it. Would have been great to see him. That's good stuff, bud. I hope everybody likes our little studio we're decorating. We got Beastie Boys in Tiger Stadium.
Yogi
and Campanella.
Nakatomi moved us into a bigger studio.
Rakuten Eagles. Yeah, Nakatomi still hanging around.
He said you guys deserve a bigger space. So
he's been traveling. I haven't seen him in like 2 months, so it's one of those things. But it's nice that we get like, it's not huge, but it's still like 5% off the rent because the Nakatomi discount is very helpful.
Well, it is cool that in the break room / conference room here, they have hot dogs every day. So if we wanted to,
I do love a good hot dog, good beef hot dog. I'm trying to get Teddy to eat hot dogs.
He'll learn one day. Like we need like beer and baseball, beer and hot dogs. Best 2 things that go together.
That's awesome. That's a great show, bud. We always extend it at the end. I don't really have anything to add other than check out Grand Royal Magazine, but I like to always do a roadmap at the beginning and a rundown at the end.
It'd be cool.
What you got, bud?
It'd be cool if somehow, some way, there's a possibility that we go from our 73 subscribers that we got to 100 this year, right?
Oh, that is a goal.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Because like 100 is pretty cool.
I think it'll happen. I love UTSA golf, but I was hoping. I didn't know. I was like, I just want to support those guys, but also like wonder what kind of will it move the needle? Putting the QR code out there, like trying to get some push on the show. Absolutely zero movement on the needle. That doesn't mean I didn't love doing it, and I will totally do it again. But you never know what your marketing plan is. We might have to get some marketing this year.
I should have went there in a suit and act like I was like your lawyer or something. Somebody super important.
Yeah, but I didn't want to make a scene. I just wanted to be like low key and support.
My grandfather owns this golf course or something.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
No, it was fun. It was cool to see all the guys too. But yeah, Hallmark's a great coach. The thing about a guy like Pat Hallmark, and I've said this before, I don't know how long we get to keep that guy in San Antonio.
Yeah, good coaches eventually move on to bigger schools.
I mean, obviously he's Rice alum. I could see Rice trying to outcompete, and I think as an alumni that would be very nostalgic. Like, I'm going to go back and win a College World Series with these guys. I think he can win a College World Series at UTSA. I honestly do. I think baseball works that way, that you can find the crew of guys and do it anywhere. But I mean, if you're looking at coaching prospects, he's got to be one of the top in the nation. So that's my Pat Hallmark fandom. And excited for River Monster stuff. We'll be getting together with Mike next week. Grab some lunch, talk River Monsters. He's signing a lot of good ball players out there. But that's the show, folks. Trevor Bauer will probably not play Major League Baseball again, and I don't know if I care one way or the other. I don't have a serious conviction on what exactly happened, and I'm not going to burn the calories to like dig in the case so I can say how right I am on what a piece of trash he is, because I've seen people get tried in the public eye, and it isn't always right. So who knows?
Yeah, that's the Bauer take. There's 2 sides to the story. But I'm not going to make a judgment because I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. But just because you're not convicted in court doesn't mean you're guilty. Just because you're convicted in the public opinion or whatever. I'm sorry. Just because you're not convicted in criminal court doesn't mean you're an innocent person. And just because the public thinks that you're a piece of trash
doesn't mean you are.
Doesn't mean, it's the O.J. Duke lacrosse conundrum. But then we covered some...
y'all can't be John Crooks out there, man.
Can't be class. I love the Crookster. But the Ryan Flores, great hitter, not getting a chance. It's my issues with baseball. I said, go to Taiwan and get a job with a corporation. And... but he's a great guy. He's got dude, I got responsibilities, man. I can't go play independent ball. I gotta bring some money home. So it's tough on those guys. If you don't get that shot,
independent baseball is definitely for people that are single or don't have a family.
Or I don't know how you make it financially, but it kills me. The guys that I think should get their look with a wood bat at a professional level aren't, so that sucks. But
maybe he'll
great guy, great hitter.
Play again. He'll decide one year.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure. He's in baseball shape. He's crushing the golf ball. But I don't know. It's
sad when your career is done. And there's nothing you can do about it.
It's just done before you. It's not so much like if it's done, but done without the full look. I mean, Ryan Flores at LSU's drafted 10th round. People are biased, so Duke can rake. The Duke can rake a baseball. And then we talked a little bit about Andy Brown and linked that in with Kaoru Betto because I got my awesome Andy Brown original art. Talked a little bit about our awesome comedy sketches that we're churning out, whether you like them or not.
We have another one planned where it's...
Don't do drugs, kids. It's comedy. That's what I'm saying.
There's also the one where we're going to do a therapy couch.
The therapy couch.
Get your emotions out. This time I'll be in the interviewer chair, except there won't be an interview. It'll be a therapy session.
Turnstile. The alter ego that I carry is
I would say an alter ego.
Turnstile.
I would say that's just you straight up.
It is pretty much just. There's only a slight difference between my sort of catatonic 1,000-yard stare as a dad trying to cope and a underground baseball reporter hanging on by a thread. There's that. Also, I should have really highlighted a big part of the show was Aunt Cheryl calling in.
Got our first call.
I would have timed it differently because we were about to get into such a meaty subject that people, I think, if they ever click on it, they're like, let's see what these dudes are about to say something dumb about Trevor Bauer. And then they're like, oh, cool, this guy's aunt called in. So I don't know. But, I mean, you can call into the show anytime. You can even call in when we're not having a show. And she won a door prize. That might go for...
Machine.
Yeah. Answering machine on that phone number, 210-401
So does
7394.
Does the machine when it answers go to like the app that you have on the computer?
Yeah, I think it's like
sound like an old person. When the machine picks it up.
Yeah, it's old school. That's what you do, the Magic Jack. I think it like goes into like a MP3 file and then I can just play what you said, dude, you're horrible people. Just talking about not having an opinion on Bauer, whatever you want to let us know, or you want to talk about some obscure middle school baseball, we'll talk about it. Leave a message. I'm really interested. I really hope the audio's good on this. I get too close to the mic sometimes, and then it's you never know.
Like when
it's not consistent.
Like when you had that pencil mic, like blew it out.
Yeah, blew out the pencil mic.
But it is good though for picking up audio. Like when it, it's almost like a boom mic. Pretty much what it is. But.
And so there's that. And then last but not least, the teasing of the magazine and just talking about great magazines that have been made, namely Grand Royal. And I intend to follow that publishing path to a T with baseball obscurity.
What was that magazine I used to get as a kid?
If you're a baseball journalist, get at us. We need help.
When I was younger, I used to love Sports Illustrated.
That's a classic.
And also, you'd always get that monthly, yearly swimsuit edition that they would put out.
Oh, yeah, that was classic. That was...
So when you're like in high school or whatever, you're like, ooh.
Man, that blows your mind as a middle schooler, that swimsuit issue. You know what else they had? My buddy Jacobson was such a I mean, he should have his own radio show because he's just like an encyclopedia of sports information. We were like best buddies growing up, still are. It's hard to keep in touch because he's back in Seattle. But he knew so much about sports like way early. Like in middle school when I was like, what, who's that? He just knew it all. And he would go into the middle school library and go into Sports Illustrated, and they had like faces in the crowd, you know?
Yeah.
And it would be like some high school kid that like hit 700 with 20 homers, and you're just like this up and comer. He would like go find like editions from like 2 years ago of some guy who's like in the MLB now. He's like, we're gonna snake this Sports Illustrated because it's collectible, and he would have all these Sports Illustrated like faces in the crowd or something. Like you just find these, and it was awesome. But
I remember that little segment.
You know, it was just like one page. It had about like 3 high school kids who were doing amazing stuff.
They still do that, I think.
And I think they still do, but he would know how to like find, you know,
the ones that eventually went on to do great shit.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like, because that would have been like 88. So who was insane at baseball in like 1990? You know, like I don't know. Like you would find like Kenny Lofton when he was playing like hoops at Arizona or whatever it was. And
Kenny Lofton, the great Kenny Lofton.
Kenny Lofton's great bunter too. Great bunter. Check out Dutch Chatty's 5 favorite cities to bunt in. It's gold. Other than that, dude, I think we're outroing. Thanks for.
Or if they want to check in and hear you talk about you missing mortgage payments.
If you want to watch me melt down and talk about angel dust and PCP, check out.
And eat some healthy carrots along the way.
Yeah. Check out our sketch comedy. That's probably entirely too long, and we're aware of that. We don't care. It's awesome. This is a great edit.
Because who puts out 2 minutes of something? You can't get the full story.
I can't film that much hilarity in my life and then get it into 2 minutes.
I laugh every time I see it. You're like, okay, moving on.
It's good stuff. All right, folks. First podcast in the studio. A lot of technical difficulties. We appreciate you, Aunt Cheryl. Love you. You're the best.
First caller, and you walk away with a prize.
I'm going to need Earl to come up with a mailing address so we get out door prizes. If you want to be the second caller and surprise us with, see what kind of door prizes we're handing out here, because it's good stuff. Like maybe a personalized letter, something like that would be good. All right, man. Let's end this debacle. It's generally a win. Let's see here.
This song's been playing for a while too.
That's all good. I like this song.
It's a ripper.
Oh, we got to go to YouTube to go end the stream, probably, right? All right.
Yeah.
Peace out. 1:30. End audition.